Hey, aloha, my fellow adventurers. Sevenadventure here, and welcome to the Clay Soldiers Project episode... Clay Civilizations Project, episode 3. Now, you may be wondering right off the bat, why am I not playing a game? What's going on? I just wanted to go over some technical details for this episode about the combat and about the civilizations and their attributes and stuff. I've spent 5 to 6 hours just today working on the attributes, what each civilization is going to have, and I have an interactive thing for you guys to participate in the comments section after you see this video. Please watch it through its entirety so you can understand the fairly complex features that I'm adding in for each civilization. So each civilization, as I said, has 10 components. So those components, and I'll go over them in detail in just a moment, are population, magic interest, armory, diversity, weaponry, training speed, or training efficiency, city fortification, resourcefulness, speed, and militia. So in this game, I'm treating it kind of as a top-down strategy in Minecraft. So how it goes is it's going to be turn-based, and this season of the Clay Soldiers Civilization Project is going to end when one civilization stands. There's going to be no diplomacy, none of that bull crap. It's just going to be death and destruction and mayhem and all that kind of stuff. So now I'm going to go over the 10 components in full detail. Here we go. So number 1 is population. Population is how many people are living in the city of a certain civilization. If the population is a low level, it's going to be easy to take over that city. If it's a high level, it's going to be more difficult to take over that city. So how it's going to work is, like I said, last civilization standing wins. But how population deals into it is, if all the population's dead, then the city is taken over. And if the city's taken over, that means that city can no longer produce units, and that civilization is really close to losing. The only thing left to do with that civilization is to find the army in wherever that color's army is, if there is one, and destroy them. And then that civilization is done. That's it. So that's population, basically. How many people are in that city? Number 2 is magic interest, or knowledge of magic. In knowledge of magic, every civilization, just by starting off, knows of sugar. Sugar is a magical substance that allows all civilization, or all clay soldiers, to run fast. It's a speed thing, a speed buff. So that's important, and everyone knows that. But civilizations more advanced, more leveled up in magic interest will come to the realization of other magical substances, all the way up to blocks of emerald, which shoot lightning, which is really badass. Anyway, number 3 is armory. Does this civilization understand armor? Do they know how to make tunics? Do they know how to make bowls? Do they know how to make whatever? There's four things of armor. Do they know how to make any of those? And this is important because, civilizations more leveled up in armor will have more armor to prevent damage to them. And civilizations that don't even know how to make armor will be at a serious disadvantage. Next is diversity. Diversity is important because if a civilization has a diversity level of 0, that means they only can train one class, one type of soldier. And this could be a disadvantage to them because it'll take longer to produce that soldier, because they're going to want to put all their best stuff into that soldier because they can only make one. On the other hand, civilizations with high diversity can produce various types of soldiers with various types of abilities, depending on how much that civilization knows about offensive and defensive and magical strategies. Next is weaponry. How much knowledge does this civilization know about shears? How much knowledge do they know about any weapons at all? Because if they don't know about the existence, if they don't know that they can use sticks as swords or whatever, then they can't use them. Or unless they pick them up from a dead body from another clay soldier, I guess that's acceptable. But basically, they won't know how to create certain weapons, just depending on their weaponry level. Okay? Next is training speed, number 6. Training speed is at the beginning of each civilization's turn, they are awarded a certain number of training points. If they have enough training points for a specific unit, they can, train that unit. And then bam, there's a new unit in the city, one little clay soldier. But over time, as turns keep progressing, eventually a city is going to have enough units to send out another army. Or just more city defense or whatever. So, training speed is very important. So civilizations with low training speed will find it difficult to keep producing units because it'll just take forever if they're only producing one training point at a time. If they're very advanced in training speed, they may be able to train multiple units in the same turn, which is very important for a supremacy victory. You know what I'm trying to say? If they're trying to kill everyone, they need to produce units quickly. So training speed is very important. Number 7 is city fortification. So, as I said before, you must take over a city and then kill all the remaining units. And the city is very important. It produces more units for you to kill. It's very difficult to take over a city sometimes. But sometimes it's not. It's all based on city fortification. So how it's going to work is if a civilization's city fortification level is at 0, then opposing armies can just come in and just try to kill the population. But if the city fortification is higher than the level of 0, it'll take a few turns for the city fortification to be, crushed or sieged. We'll pretend that the opposing armies are sieging, the city and bringing down its defenses. When the city fortification drops to 0, then the opposing army can go in and attempt to destroy the population. This is very important because, the blue civilization might just be chilling here with their city fortification of 0, and just be like, oh yeah, what a nice day. And then, the red civilization, just wipes them out. But if they had city fortification, red would have to sit there, sieging the city. Blue could be like, oh, come back, friends. And then, the blue army way over here could have time to come over, defeat the red army, maybe, and, it'll all turn out better. So city fortification is very important. Next, which is a really cool thing, I think, is resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is important, because what it is each turn when an army moves closer to another civilization, they stop for the end of the turn, they have a certain radius in which they can scavenge for food, materials, whatever they know how to do. So, for example, if the blue civilization is going to cream the green civilization, and they're walking, they run out of movement points, they run out of speed, whatever, they're done for the turn. They stop and they look around, and they see that there are lily pads around. There's also cows around. There's also, trees. All these things can be used to their advantage to make, swords. Leather can make the tunics. You can kill the cows for the food. Like all kinds of stuff. As long as the civilization knows how to make, a leather tunic or whatever. So resourcefulness is very important because it can give, especially after a battle with a city and that army wins, but now it's weak. All its equipment broke. In the army, all the clay soldiers' equipment possibly broke. They need to be resourceful and find a place where they can restock up on food. Very important. Next is speed. So, like I said, armies each turn have a certain amount of movement points, you could say, that determine how far they can go in a turn. Like, so an army with a high speed can go very far in one turn and get closer to a civilization to destroy it, perhaps next turn. And how this is determined is I turn into a clay soldier, I morph into a clay soldier. This will be off camera. I morph into a clay soldier, I drink a slowness 3 potion. That's about the speed that clay soldiers normally walk. And I just walk towards the civilization I'm trying to go to. And after 1 hour Minecraft time up to 3.5 hours Minecraft time, depending on the speed of the civilization, I stop and then I check for resources around the area. That kind of thing. So that's how turns and speed is all determined in the game. And the last thing is militia. And militia probably should have been at the beginning with population. But militia is basically the city's last defenses. A civilization with a low militia level will have almost no militia, almost no city defense after they get past the city fortification, and it'll be pretty easy for them to take out your city or the opposing color's city. A city or a civilization with a high militia level, most of the population might be prepared for this kind of onslaught, and they'll have, weapons. They'll just be soldiers hanging out in the city. So after the city fortification, you already have a strong defense in your city against any other civilizations. So those are the 10 components. Now what I need your guys' help with is I was going to have 20 civilizations, but I was realizing that, wow, that would be really difficult to do 20 turns in one episode. Like, wow, I'd just be really, really overwhelming myself if I did that. So what I'd like you guys to do is I'm going to give you guys some numbers. Hopefully you remember what the 10 components are. And I'm going to give you guys some numbers, some levels, and you guys can decide 8 of the 10 of predetermined civilization levels that I've already come up with. And I decided all these randomly with a 20-sided die and a 6-sided die. I rolled the 20-sided die to see which component it affected, and I rolled the 6-sided die, ignoring the 6, to determine what level that civilization got in that category. So, I'm going to give you guys some numbers here. I'm going to give you guys 18 different civilizations attributes, and you guys can determine which are the best. I'm going to take, I'm probably going to give you guys a week to determine this, and then after that amount of time, I'm going to look back at the comments and see which ones are most common. If you guys didn't choose 10, if you guys didn't choose 8, then I'll just choose the last few or whatever. And even if none of you comment, I'll just choose the last ones. It's no problem. So anyway, I have to clarify a few things. Just because weaponry equals 0 doesn't mean they don't have any weapons. It only means that they only have gravel that they can use for weapons. But on the other hand, you got to take into account more than just the armory or the weaponry. You have to take into account the magic too, because magic is a very powerful offensive tool that civilizations can use. And you have to take into account the other thing. Okay, what I've decided, everybody, is that on the screen, I'm going to post 18 different examples of civilizations, and you guys are going to vote down in the comments which civilizations you think would be the best. Okay? And let me just tell you, they're all pretty good. None of them are like too overpowered. Because I made it the way I made it so that it's not so overpowered for any of them. And you might think otherwise, but so on the screen right now should be appearing the first, however many civilizations, and how it's going to go is it'll say probably, I'm not sure I'm going to lay it out. You'll see. I'll make it easy to lay out. But using the 10 attributes that I described earlier, keep in mind those as you see the numbers and have fun. Have fun thinking about which civilization would be the best, or which 8 civilizations, okay? Anyway, Sevenadventure signing off. Please rate, comment, subscribe to become a new adventurer today, and I will see you all in the next episode of the Clay Civilizations Project with Sevenadventure. Sevenadventure signing off. Bye!